There is a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from constantly monitoring the emotional temperature of another person. You might know this feeling well. It begins the moment you hear their key turn in the front door or see their name pop up on your phone. Before you even say hello, you are scanning for data. You are checking the tone of their voice. You are looking for the set of their jaw or the heaviness in their step. You are trying to answer one urgent question. Is everything okay? Or do I need to fix something? If they are in a bad mood, you immediately shift into crisis mode. You try to soothe them. You try to solve their problem. You suppress your own needs to make space for their big emotions. We often call this walking on eggshells, but that phrase is too passive. It does not capture the amount of labor involved. This is emotional management. It is a full-time job where you act as the shock absorber for your partner's life. You might tell yourself that this is what love requires. You might believe that being a supportive partner means being an emotional sponge. But there is a vital distinction between being a supportive partner and acting as a caretaker. If you feel responsible for fixing your partner's feelings, you are not in a partnership. You have unknowingly stepped into the role of a therapist. To understand how this dynamic develops, we need to look at the concept of emotional outsourcing. In a healthy adult relationship, we aim for interdependence. Interdependence means that two people can lean on each other for support, but they can also stand on their own. If one person is having a hard day, the other can offer a listening ear or a hug. However, the person having the hard day still retains ownership of their emotions. They know that their feelings are their own to process. They do not expect their partner to reach inside them and surgically remove the pain. Emotional outsourcing is different. This occurs when one partner unconsciously hands their emotional regulation over to the other. Instead of dealing with their stress, they dump it on you. Instead of managing their anxiety, they require you to reassure them constantly. They treat you as an external regulation facility. If they are angry, it becomes your job to calm them down. If they are sad, it becomes your job to cheer them up. And if you fail at this task, if you cannot make them feel better, they might blame you for their continued distress. This creates a heavy, suffocating dynamic where you lose your sense of self because you are too busy carrying the weight of another person. We often fall into this trap because of our own history. If you grew up in a home where you had to manage a parent's volatile moods to stay safe, this behavior will feel natural to you. You learned early on that your safety depends on the emotional stability of the people around you. So, in your adult relationships, you apply the same strategy. You try to control the environment. You try to preemptively solve problems before they even happen. You think that if you can just be perfect enough, supportive enough, or insightful enough, you can keep the peace. But this brings us to a hard truth about control. The idea that you can manage another person's internal state is an illusion. You cannot control a nervous system that is not your own. You can offer the best advice in the world, and they might still be miserable. You can be the most loving partner imaginable, and they might still be angry. When you tie your well-being to their mood, you are signing up for a life of instability. You become a passenger on their emotional roller coaster. When they go up, you are allowed to be happy. When they go down, you must go down with them. There is a profound cost to your authenticity in this dynamic. When you function as a therapist or a fixer, you stop being a real person. Therapists in a clinical setting are trained to be neutral. They put their own needs aside to focus entirely on the client. That is appropriate for a paid hour once a week. It is destructive for a romantic partnership that lasts 24 hours a day. You cannot be neutral in your own life. You have needs, you have preferences, you have bad days of your own. But if you are busy managing them, your reality gets erased. You start to hide your own struggles because you do not want to add to the burden. You become a mirror, reflecting their needs, rather than a human being with your own. Furthermore, and this is counterintuitive, acting as a fixer actually harms your partner in the long run. By constantly stepping in to solve their emotional problems, you are preventing them from developing their own resilience. Think of it like a muscle. If you carried someone everywhere they wanted to go, their leg muscles would eventually atrophy. They would lose the ability to walk. Similarly, if you always soothe your partner's anxiety or absorb their anger, they never learn to self-soothe. They never learn that they can survive uncomfortable feelings on their own. You might think you are helping them, but you are actually enabling a dependency. You are confirming their belief that they are incapable of handling life without you. This keeps them stuck in a childlike state of helplessness. True love involves believing in your partner's competence. It involves trusting that they are an adult who has the resources to navigate their own internal landscape. When you step back, you are not abandoning them. You are giving them the space to step up. You are giving them the dignity of their own struggle. So, what does this shift look like in practice? It does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become cold or indifferent. It means shifting your internal stance from active fixer to compassionate witness. When your partner comes to you with a heavy emotion, imagine a glass wall between you. You can see them, you can hear them, you can offer love through the glass, but the water that is drowning them cannot get into your lungs. You can stay dry while they navigate their storm. This is not about lack of empathy, it is about self-preservation. A powerful tool to help with this is a visualization called "Not My Storm." When you feel that familiar urge to jump in and fix things, pause. Take a breath and physically settle back into your chair. Visualize their emotion as a weather system occurring on the other side of the room. It might be a thunderstorm of anger or a fog of depression. Notice it, acknowledge it, but remind yourself, I am not the weather, I am the observer. You can say to yourself, this is their storm to navigate. I can hold their hand, but I cannot stop the rain. This mental separation allows you to remain grounded. It prevents their chaos from destabilizing your center. This leads us to a shift in language. We often use phrases that take on responsibility, like, I'll make it better, or let me fix this for you. Instead, try using a phrase that emphasizes their autonomy. A powerful sentence to practice is, I am here for you, and I trust you to handle this. This might feel uncomfortable at first. It might feel like you are not doing enough. But look at what that sentence does. It offers connection while simultaneously affirming their capability. Another useful phrase is, I can see you are really struggling with this. Do you want to vent or do you want a distraction? This puts the ball back in their court. It asks them to identify what they need rather than you guessing and performing for them. If they say they want you to fix it, you can gently hold the boundary. You can say, I can't fix this for you, but I can sit with you while you figure it out. This protects you from the exhaustion of trying to solve the unsolvable. It is important to prepare for some resistance when you start making these changes. If your partner is used to you doing the heavy lifting, they might feel abandoned at first. They might accuse you of not caring. This is a common reaction when a dynamic shifts. Do not panic. Their reaction is part of the process. It is their anxiety speaking, wondering why the usual system isn't working. Stay steady. Your consistency in holding this new boundary is what will eventually help them adapt. You are teaching them a new way to relate, one that is based on two adults standing side by side rather than one carrying the other. We must also address the fear that often drives the fixer role. Deep down, you might worry that if you stop being useful, you will no longer be loved. You might fear that your value in the relationship is tied to your ability to soothe and solve. This is a painful narrative to confront. But consider this. Do you want to be loved for your utility, or do you want to be loved for your essence? A relationship based on transaction, I fix you so you keep me, is fragile. A relationship based on authentic connection is robust. Stepping out of the therapist role allows you to reclaim your energy. Think of all the mental bandwidth you spend analyzing your partner's psyche. Think of the hours you spend ruminating on their problems. What could you do with that energy if you directed it back toward yourself? You could pursue your own hobbies. You could rest. You could cultivate your own friendships. When you stop obsessing over their growth, you have the freedom to focus on your own. Ultimately, the most romantic thing you can do for your partner is to treat them like an equal. It is to respect their journey enough to let them walk it. We cannot learn lessons for other people. We cannot process grief for other people. We cannot mature for other people. These are solitary tasks. Your role is not to be the savior. Your role is to be the partner. A healthy relationship requires two people who are willing to regulate their own emotions. It requires two people who take responsibility for their own inner worlds. By releasing the burden of being their therapist, you are actually opening the door for a more genuine intimacy. You are saying, I want to be with you, not manage you. As you move through your week, try to notice when you slip into the fixer mode. Notice when your body tenses up in response to their mood. In that moment, practice the pause. Step back. Remind yourself that you are allowed to be okay, even if they are not. You are allowed to be happy, even if they are sad. Your peace does not have to be held hostage by their process. Ask yourself this question: if I put down the heavy backpack of my partner's emotions, who would I be in this relationship? The answer to that question is the version of you that is waiting to be met.